Namaste everyone. I'm just checking the links for 1 minute. Okay, it's live. Radha's on YouTube. Namaste Radha. I just wanted to check if the link is fine. Okay, seems like the audio and the video are fine. Someone can let me know if they're fine. I think Radha's the only one here, so if Radha can hear, I hope Radha can hear and see fine. I think there'll be a little disturbance as there generally is, but otherwise it should be okay. Radha said it's all fine. My headphones are an issue, so audio a little low for me. Okay. So what do we speak about today? Let me just put the laptop to charge. Are we willing to lead an untroubled life? That's the question, isn't it? Ultimately, the question is that, are we willing to live an untroubled life? See, I was watching a movie yesterday, I think, with my family, and we were all sitting in the living room. We were watching a movie. And there was a dialogue from this person inside the movie. And he was talking to a friend, or I don't exactly remember what he was doing. He was talking to a friend or something. And he was telling his friend on the other line that if all the problems in my life were to go away, life would become so boring. Says, he was telling his friend, imagine if all my friends go away, sorry, if all my problems go away, life would become so boring. And that sentence somehow, the collective, the collective reflection of humanity, that is sort of reflected in that sentence actually. Because we all believe this. Without troubles, what is our life? Without conflict, without struggle, what's the point in living in life? So, in some ways, we invent these conflicts, these troubles, these struggles. Somehow we feel they make our life more enriching. The fact is, the joy of an untroubled life is the most sweetest nectar, the most sweetest thing that there is in existence. The joy of an untroubled life. Are we willing to lead an untroubled life? Namaste, Aparna.
Hi.
I'm glad you could join.
I can barely hear anything. एक मिनट मैं इसका speakers adjust करती हूँ.
ठीक है.
How late
Just
am I?
check. The volume on my end is fine. I should maybe speak a little louder, but
How late am I? I
oh,
just
you
saw.
didn't miss much. 3-4 minutes. In fact, it's good you came. I forgot to actually do the invocations before starting. So,
No, I just saw your notification on the Sangha.
so मुझे की जय, अनंता जी की
Jai.
जय,
Jai.
की जय.
Jai.
Sometimes I forget to say these at the start. So it's good when you came in and you did Namaste. Suddenly remember.
Hmm. Quite a bit of that answer got cleared in
Okay.
the what I was transcribing. The next session that I was transcribing, again somebody asked a similar question. And
Right.
for that person, Muji's answer was very different.
Yes, that can happen.
He 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 said that awareness is not something that is bound by conditions, that you have to
Right.
leave your studies, you have to leave your this thing and thing, or if you sit for a long time, only then there is awareness. So for that first person, he had said that study from the place of consciousness. For this other person, he said no, it's not bound by conditions.
Yes. It can happen actually. I feel like different people need to listen to different things sometimes.
True,
We're all
true,
in our own process. So sometimes the same thing must need to be tweaked a little so that it can resonate for the person.
true.
Uh, the beings.
The only one question I ever asked him, it went in so deeply.
Yeah,
I had spent 1 month with the entire Sangha, but that one answer that he gave me, that completely went in.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I feel the words of a master has that kind of power. It's
True,
the words of the master, and it's also our own openness to the master. You see, because we're very, very willing to receive from who we call a guru, from who we call a master. We're very willing and open to receive, and there is no doubt or there is no blockage. So it's a very easy, it's a very easy taking in. So I can totally relate to that. The time Jyotika, Namaste Jyotika.
I
Uh, So yeah, I mean it can definitely happen like that because you're so open to the master, you're so open to the guru that the words just completely come inside. And it's like each of us are on we are going to the same way, we're going to the same destination. For example, if you're traveling from here to Tiruvannamalai or Chennai, there are different routes, but the destination is the same.
तो मैं आपको ले आऊंगी ना? हाँ, मैं ड्रॉप कर दूंगी आपको. हाँ.
Aparna, I just muted you. If you feel like speaking, just unmute and I hope it's fine. Just muted
Yeah,
you.
I'm sorry.
No problem. So Xavier says, good evening Xavier. Sadhguru Mahadev ki jai, he says. Mahadev ki jai. And he says, Namaste Rala. Very nice. So before Aparna came in and asked me a question, the contemplation really is this: are we willing to live an untroubled life?
Are you willing to
lead an untroubled life? Sometimes we're just sharing. It feels like we were watching a movie yesterday. I was just sharing this. We were watching a movie at home in the living room, and this one person who was in the movie, he made a comment to one of his friends on the phone. He said to his phone, he said to his friend that if all my problems in life go away, life will become so boring.
No, it won't.
It somehow I feel it is very beautiful because it collectively reflects, sort of reflects where we are collectively. We all feel this. So we invent some of these struggles sometimes. We invent some of these because we feel that life will become so boring without our troubles. But somehow I feel like the joy of an untroubled life, there is nothing compared to that.
True.
Because the joy that comes from there, the peace that is born from there, and the nectar that the honey, the sort of compassion that arises from there, is a very unit. It's hard to describe, but it's sort of it's a union of sorts. There's a union with everything. It can happen actually. I feel like different people need to listen to different things sometimes. Namaste Xavier. Namaste Soham. So happy to have you be here. We are in our own process. So sometimes the same thing must need to be repeated so that it can. Xavier? Oh, Xavier. Yes. Let's just quickly go and see what's happening on YouTube. So Father's here. Namaste, Father. So great to have you here. So Father is Ananta. For those of you, Xavier says God wrote Father's name for the first time. Feeling blessed. Very nice. Father says she will be on and off here. Well, that's fine. So anything any of us feel like sharing, please feel free to share. But I think it's a beautiful question. I think it's a beautiful inquiry that Aparna brought up. She didn't so much bring up, but she shared, which is how that at different times the master shares different things for different people. And so somehow the truth is not in the words. That kind of clarifies for us the truth is not in the words. That the truth is also not in a teaching. And the truth is in who you are. Who you are is the truth. Like I was sharing that we go from here to Chennai or Tiruvannamalai, and the goal is the same. But we have different routes to reach there. We have different, the destination is the same thing, but we have different ways to reach there. So in the same way, each of us are, it's a little funny, we are already at home. So each of us are already at the destination. And somehow it feels like there is a seeming journey to the destination, which is also happening inside of the destination itself. It's kind of a little tricky, but I hope you can see this. We are already at the destination, and yet there is a seeming journey to reach the destination, because we will deny our experience if we say that I am only this, because sometimes there are some troubles that we need to go through. There is some struggle that we go through. So we're already at the destination, and there is a seeming journey to this destination. But all of this is happening within you. All of this, each and every instant or milestone that you are crossing on this journey is still you. There is just you. There is just consciousness. There is just awareness. So it seems like at different stages we need to hear different things. And since there are so many people in this world, each being has a very different permutational combination. I wonder if you've looked at this. You see, it's very beautiful, because each being has a very different permutational combination. But the one who has made this permutational combination, which is God, which is consciousness, he is the one who's designed this combination a certain way. So he knows the combination. He knows the code to break. Your own being knows the code to break through to you. So if there is any doubt, or if there is any worry, if there is any fear, it can be totally and completely let go of. Because if there is one thing which is a guarantee in this existence, if there is one thing which is a total guarantee, is that your own being will unlock you. Your own being knows the code to reach to you. And sometimes this code is designed like, and sometimes this code can appear externally, you see. It can show up in the form of a master, it can show up in the form of a guru, it can show up in the form of a friend, of a difficult life situation. But be rest assured, know in your heart that your being is taking care of you. Your being is coming for you. Your being has already come for you. The question again we come back to reflect to is, are we willing to lead an untroubled life? Somehow we have gotten used to these struggles and these troubles, and we invent some of these things because we feel the egoic structure, the person idea, invent some of these things because it feels that if these are not there, kya zindagi? How will I lead this? What's the use of this life? But it's a very low vantage point in the manner of speaking. Because the joy of an untroubled life helps you open up to the completeness of existence. Helps make your relationships much more intimate, much more beautiful. It livens your work, whatever work you take part, whether it's being washing dishes, whether it's being education, whether it's any kind of work. It kind of this untroubled existence, it blesses every ounce of your life. It makes you a better friend, it makes you a better mother. Don't look out for these things because these are side effects. Don't say that now I must become a better father, or I must become a great worker, or any of these, because these are side effects, you see. But why I feel it's important to share some of these things, because I can say in my own experience that I feel I haven't lost anything. And the big scare of a lot of beings is when they go onto this path, is they feel they're going to lose something. They feel they have to renounce something. They have to give up something. But the only thing you lose is false. Is falsity, is delusion. So renounce, what does renounce really mean? I think it will be very helpful to look into the real meaning of the word renounce. The word renounce really means to not be identified with, to not be attached to. It does not really mean give up something. It means come back, come back. Don't identify so much, don't attach so much. Yes, Aparna?
It's not only with the positive things or the assets of life, but also with, like Muji had told me, don't identify so much with your fears.
Right.
And I realized that we identify too much with our troubles. If I don't have a job, I'll probably want to see it as a blessing or as a curse. It
Right.
can never be just an event for me. Neutral nahi rehta. We always tend to give it a positive or a negative color to every event.
Yes, yes, very nice. Yes, and that's how we've been cultured. You see, that's how we've been.
He said, don't identify.
Exactly. So what you're saying is very beautiful. So it's like we add anything that happens, we add a twist to it. You know, it's the nature that we add a twist to it. We either give it a positive spin or we give it a negative spin. But giving it either a positive spin or giving it a negative spin is still in the realm of duality. And I know that even if you're not so much interested in duality, non-duality, what we can say is viewing an event positively or viewing it an event negatively is still not viewing the event as reality.
As it is.
As it is, exactly. Right? And this is what you say is very beautiful, which is neutrality, which is also what Father Ananta shares in Satsang. He says to be neutral. Right? Now, we cannot expect the mind to do this neutrality. So we cannot, it's not like from the next time onwards we cannot force this neutrality in a sense. We cannot expect the mind to be neutral. Because the mind in its nature is duality. It will see something is good, it will see something is bad. The mind is not equipped to look at something neutral. Yeah? So it's very beautiful. So when you have any of these fears, when Mujiji is saying that drop your identification from this, is to come back home, so to say, is to come back to consciousness, is to stop, like you said so nicely, it's either I give a positive spin to it or I give a negative spin to it. I cannot see it neutrally. But the thing is, the mind cannot see it neutrally. The mind cannot see this neutrally. So, in order to be with what is, in order to see it realistically, in order to see the real, we have to let go of this need to interpret it positively or negatively and come back to the place where there is no interpretation about it. Does this make sense, Aparna? Can you see it?
Makes sense. Lot of sense.
Yeah, so come back. So there is inside of you already a place that is not so concerned about, because you yourself said, no? You yourself said that I can't keep it neutral. That means you recognize that there is a place inside of you which is neutral. So there is inside of you a place that is already neutral actually to this.
This has robbed me of so many stories. You know, I used to write so many stories, drama stories.
Yes. And you know, the mind is like this. The mind is like this. And I feel it's very helpful that we don't identify with even these tendencies of story writing. Because the mind is like this, you know, the mind writes, the mind's nature is like one of the examples that I often share is like this. It's a knife is designed to cut things, right? A knife is designed to cut something. So it will, by its very nature, it will cut something, it will make something into two, it will make something into three. It will do something like this because it's designed like that. You cannot expect a knife to make something whole. A knife cannot bring something whole. It can only cut. In the same way, the mind only can write stories. And there's nothing wrong about this. We don't need to judge the mind. I feel as a collective humanity, one of the biggest things we do is we judge the mind. And in the judging of the mind, somehow we lose our serenity. If you notice this, when we judge anything, when we judge ourselves, when we judge somebody else, we lose our serenity actually. When we judge an event in the world, we lose our serenity. I don't know if you've noticed this. So don't judge the mind for its stories. The mind will continue with its stories. You just renounce these stories somehow and come back home into consciousness, into that neutral place within you already, that witnessing within you already, which is not caught up with the story, because you yourself can say that you would recognize that there is a neutrality. You recognize that I know the neutral place inside me. Jesse, namaste Jesse. I hope we can hear you today. I don't know, I think again he can't hear us. So I feel a very beautiful way to look at. Oh, namaste, yes. Jesse says I can. Very good. So can we begin to approach life and go into the events of life as presence, as what we are? The neutrality is not something the mind can do. The neutrality is what we are. And somehow there is an adventure to this, you see. I feel the awakened life in some way is an adventure. Or the journey or the going towards your true place is an adventure, because you never know what can happen next. You really have no clue what can happen next. You're discovering constantly, you're exploring constantly. There is no sense of authority. You cannot say to anybody, I know more than you, or you know more than me. You just, it's a very adventurous life, because on each end, on each corner, there are no securities to fall back upon. And the mind's nature is security. The mind wants security. So it's very much like a bus ride or a train ride in India. These bus rides you take up in these very, very, it's like so full of people and it's so unpredictable. I remember when I was in Delhi, I used to take these rides. I think they were called tuk-tuks. Tuk-tuks are like these autos. So, I would take these tuk-tuk from one corner to the other. And in that span of 10 minutes, I'd have to be sitting in a corner, I'd have to move to another corner, I'd have to be on top, and I have to move all over the place. I would literally have no clue where I'd be next. Sometimes my leg is dangling outside the window, sometimes my hand, sometimes I'm half side, half outside. Um, and it was very enjoyable. It was very enjoyable because there was something in it that I enjoyed. I don't know why, but I really enjoyed it. And I recognize that when we do not resist life, and when we're somehow willing to go in the flow, be in the flow with things, it's a very sweet adventure, it's a joy. The only thing is we want to take the joy with a sense of security. We want to take this joy with the mind, but the mind cannot give us this. Shani is there, namaste Shani. So we cannot somehow being in this is that there is no security. So an untroubled life does not mean that everything is going to go well for you, but it means that whatever happens, you will be well. An untroubled life. Can we have the courage to lead an untroubled life? Because an untroubled life makes no demands on the situations of life. It makes no demands on the conditions of life. So we invent these struggles, Sometimes we invent these struggles for ourselves because we somehow feel very bored. But the invitation is to see that that's not true. From an untroubled place, we can have a very joyful life. Very joyful. So JK says, I have a very close friend of mine who asked me to take a break and meet a doctor. She thinks the way I accept everything, I'm moving to hell. I told her that I just let all happen and it is not happening because of me, but it's to happen, yes. It's very nice. I can understand this actually. I can understand your friend's anxiety because sometimes uh, the world can't stand to see you happy, and it's understandable because it's like when you hear somebody who's saying that I'm at peace with life and I'm flowing with life and I accept everything, that I let it all happen and it's not happening because of me, but it's happening anyway. These words sound like ludicrous to the mind. It sounds like complete madness to the mind. So we must not judge anybody, even our close friends. Because I also had some of my friends who came and told me, that we're really losing it. Somehow in my heart, I feel like if this is what losing it means, then I want to lose it every day of my life. This is what losing it means. I want to lose every instant of my life. Because there is so much peace here. There is so much joy here. And there is a unity. That's the sweetest happening. And until you think why it's happening and stop it. Yes. You just be at peace. Right? And let your I think he's talking to someone. What is Aparna saying? And security? Question mark, question mark. You can just speak, Aparna. Maybe you can just speak. You can unmute it.
Okay, you just said there is peace, there is joy, there is this.
Yes.
Is there, I
Yes.
feel is there any security, the security of a bank balance, of a salary coming in?
Is there a security? No, just 1 second. I think someone's at the door. Just give me a minute. There's nobody at home. Just 1 second. Sorry. I have to
Sorry,
go.
we've been making a lot of noise.
Yes. So okay. So Aparna was asking, is there a security of a bank balance? Yes, that was where we were at, right? So
Yes.
right now, yeah. So it's like there is peace, there is joy, and ultimately there is no security in the sense of, see, what is the security of a bank balance really mean? It means that, okay, I have so much money in the bank. But who's to say that the next instant something may not come up and all my money goes out? I may have like 10 lakhs, I may have 10 crores, or I have 10 rupees. But the next instant, the very next instant, something can happen. Who knows? Maybe this body will fall. Maybe I need to go to the hospital and then money has to come for that. Or maybe in the family something may happen.
I have
You
the
know?
same question. Same
Right.
question. Like, I feel okay. I left my job and I feel just okay. In fact, I feel very good. I feel
Right.
pretty fine. But is it only in my head? Am I losing it? Am I not seeing the, I mean, is it escapism or is it just peace?
It's a very good question. I think it's a fantastic question. And I feel for each of us it's different, you see. So I can share for you, I can share for you. You know in your heart, you will know in your heart very clearly when you're running away from something, when you're escaping work. It's a very different, even when you're escaping work, there is a sense of tension,
Mm.
there is a sense of restlessness. So actually, when many people say that I have left my job, and, like I've run away from my job and all of that, and I'm at peace. Many times they're not at peace. Inside, they're still struggling. There is a restlessness. So in your heart, you will know. So is there? So are you at peace? Like the question for you I have is, are you at peace just as you are, without any striving towards something, without wanting something, or is there a restlessness? Is there an avoidance?
I don't want to go back to workplace right now.
Right. Right. Yeah,
But
that's
I also don't know what is gonna happen tomorrow, but I'm okay with it. I'll see I'll cross the bridge when I come to it.
that's perfect. I think that's totally okay because I think none of us have a clue what's going to happen tomorrow anyway, right? And from the sound of it, I feel for you, you don't want to go back. There's a clarity there, and there is a peace
Very
there.
clear.
Yeah. So you should know that when there is a presence of peace with something, ultimately peace is not born as a reaction. Everything else will be born as a reaction, but not peace.
Mm.
So if there is peace in your heart, that means you're not avoiding, you're not running away. So I feel the number one test is this peace.
Yeah, because the day I got the notice, I told them I don't want to do the notice period. Please relieve me tomorrow.
Right.
I was very happy to be leaving actually.
Yeah. So I don't. This doesn't. I mean, it doesn't sound as escapism from a job. It just sounds like an important step that had to be taken in the current stage of your life. You took this step, and I feel you're also okay, right? So this is where the neutrality comes in. If tomorrow you were to get a job and you suddenly feel that okay, I want to go work, you'll be okay going to work. Right? If tomorrow you were to get a job and you feel like I need to go work, will you be okay going in and working?
Not right now. After
Not right
2 years maybe. Yeah.
after 2 years. Yeah, but I would say don't really set a time frame because we don't know how things may change. If it's feeling okay right now, if we don't know, like for example, maybe 15 days later, somebody will come and tell you something, and you suddenly feel like, hey, I think I'd like to go work for this.
I'll see if it happens, but if it happens today, it's not there. I don't
Yeah,
want to go to work right now.
fair enough, fair enough. So for me, it doesn't sound like escapism because it doesn't sound like you're running away from something. But you need to look in your own heart if there is an aversion towards work as such. Do you have an aversion towards any work, or this is just somewhere where you feel I'm okay right now? I'm set.
I'm just settled. I love the work which I did, but I was very happy to be leaving because I just want to be home right now.
Right. Right. So I think
Just
that's
want
it.
to be. Just want to be. I'm not doing anything.
Very nice. So this is it, you see. So if you have this kind of clarity, you know that it's not escapism. And you know that this is beautiful. So there is peace. So it's not you're not trying to fool yourself. And I feel it's different for different people. Some people leave their jobs as an aversion. and they're not able to be at peace because in their minds they're still fighting with their jobs. They're at war with their jobs still inside.
No,
So
I like the work.
yes, so it's very beautiful. So we are being guided by peace. We are being guided by life in some sense, what to do and what not to do. So this is very nice. So regarding the larger question, so now that we've addressed, but regarding the larger question that in this life, that there is peace and joy, in this untroubled life, there is peace, there is joy. Is there a security? And I will have to say that there is no security. None of us have any security. We only assume that we have security. Because we don't know how life can turn in one instant, life can turn at a dime. So in this awakened life, so to say, or in this life of untroubledness, in this life of going towards our true reality, being in our true reality, there is no sense of security at all. There cannot be a sense of security because you can't fall back upon anything. There is only one thing that you can fall back upon, which is only what you truly are, which is consciousness, which is awareness. That is what you already are. So there is no question of security or not the insecurity there. But in the sense of this relative existence, in the sense of life itself, we don't know. We have no clue. See, we don't know what thought will come next, what life event will come next, what situation will happen next. So for me, I don't feel there is a security, but there is joy. This is incredible. That's why it's incredible. There is joy. There is peace. There is happiness. Right? In this life, there is this. And the beauty is there is peace and joy and love. All of this are there even through insecurity. Even when there may be, even when we don't know anything about when our next meal is coming from, we can be peaceful. Even if we can't know about what will happen next in our life, we can be joyful. Because it's not based on circumstance. Okay, let me just scroll up and see the chat. Xavier says, will the bank balance feel more beautiful than this living? Yes. That's nice. Jesse says, so nice to see all of your faces. So good to see you. Anya says, the pressure to live up to a certain image takes a lot of strength not to do it. Yes, that's true. Initially, it feels like it can take some strength to not live up to a certain image. But after a while, just who we are is enough. We start living life from just who we are. You look awesome too, Jesse. Just beautiful like your heart. Amen. Xavier says, sometimes I feel what I doubt is all that is true and beautiful. The mind can be like this. The mind doubts all that is true and beautiful. You can say like that. Aparna says, we don't know, but I'm not afraid as I used to be. This is a definite sign. In our hearts, we know, even if we don't know, we are not afraid. And that is very beautiful. Generally, when we say we don't know, we are afraid. There is a fear. I don't know something, oh gosh. I don't know what will happen in life, I'm really afraid. I don't know if he or she will be with me, and there is fear. But we know on this path, as we are going deeper into what we really are, when we say we don't know and we are not afraid, that's beautiful. That's really beautiful. So Father says, Hare Krishna Mandi. That was a funny thing. There was an instance actually, maybe I can just share what he means by that. So I remember so I've been attending satsangs for a while now. So I went to attend, I keep going to Father's house to attend satsang. So one of my friends, he's a very good friend actually. We've been friends for a long time, right? When we were when I was in my college days and right through the working days, and he's still a very good friend. But he doesn't see eye to eye with these things. You see, for him, none of this makes a lot of sense. So I keep going to satsang and I keep posting a lot of stuff on my Facebook, and my life is completely in some way about this. And it's a big shift from where I used to be and what I used to be. It's a big shift. So I remember, so we still continue to be in touch, but I was not in touch with him very much, not so much. But anyway, one of these days I called him, and or he called me, I'm not sure, one of us called. And the very first thing he did while he picked up the phone, he was like, "What man, I'm hearing these days you're with the Hare Krishna Mandali." That's what he told me. I found it really funny. You see, I came back and I told people in the Sangha and I told Father also. So, like my friend called me and he said, I heard you're with the Hare Krishna Mandali these days. Sometimes it can be like this. The people in our lives around us can have all these reactions to the life we're leading. Because somehow it feels like everybody is entitled to an opinion, right? Not just to their life, but to our lives also sometimes. So like Xavier's friend was telling him that, I think you should go to the doctor, go get checked up. My friend was telling Hare Krishna Mandali. And people around us, some of us can have these responses. But it's very beautiful when we meet these responses with humor, we meet them with love. It's very energy consuming and wasteful if we meet these responses with defense or anger. It's very beautiful if we meet this with humor and love, because it diffuses every situation. You see, humor and love diffuses each situation. It makes life very playful. Somehow there's a quality of playfulness when there is humor and there is love. There's a quality of playfulness in our interaction. So Jesse says, getting used to not worrying about the things the mind says you should worry about may take time for others. You should worry about may take time for others. I have had others ask me, don't you care about anything? Does nothing matter to you? Yes. I say I care about everything. Everything matters. But nothing ultimately can distract or separate me from this view. This is very beautiful. This is very beautiful. And it's very true. It's very true. It's incredible, because I remember with my friends also, sometimes they say that, oh, so you love everybody the same right now. So it's like, if we are in front of you, and they actually posed this question to me, and it was it's a very interesting question. They asked me, so we are in one side of you, so on this side is us, your friends who cared for you and who really like you and who you really like. On the other side, there's this enemy who really has caused you a lot of hurt, and you have an option to rescue both of them. Who would you rescue? And this is an actual question that they posed. You have an option to rescue both of them. Who will you rescue? And somehow I was just found myself laughing, because it's a very foolish question. It's a very foolish question, because Aparna says, I'll rescue the cat. I found myself laughing. It's a very foolish question, because it's like, how can you predict these things? How can you predict your action beforehand when something happens? Who knows what will happen? So that's exactly like what Jesse says. Doesn't anything matter to you? Don't you care about anything? And ultimately, the mind's reactions, the mind can really play out, because in the presence of peace, in the presence of love, the mind gets very, it gets very pronounced. It gets very activated. So our own life, living our own dharma, our own truth, brings up all of this to people around us. And the most powerful way, the most beautiful way I have found to deal with this is with humor and with love, because then we can glide through these things rather than resisting or fighting, because it's really waste of time when we resist or fight. Right? So we can diffuse it with humor or love. So Xavier says Jesse is very beautiful. Yes, Jesse says that too. Xavier says, I never knew I'll call someone father even in my life, and now when I'm doing it, I'm so happy. It's the same way. We cannot predict, see. some of the biggest things we say that some of the biggest things in our lives, we say that we will not do. Somehow life puts us there. Somehow life puts us in these situations. The biggest and strongest things we say, I won't do, I can't do. You know, it's very beautiful. And sometimes when we find ourselves doing this very thing, we become very happy. We find ourselves happy. Aparna said, I'll rescue the cat. So, in our interactions with the world, no matter how our interactions seem, if we are grounded in peace, if we are grounded in love, somehow that will start reflecting in our conversation. Somehow that will reflect in our conversation. That's why I love this. I love this verse from the Bible. You see, I think in one of those Christian, not the Bible, the Christian mystics, one of the Christian mystics said this: preach the gospel always. Preach the gospel always. Use words if necessary.
Wow. Wow.
Very, yes. It's very, very powerful.
Very powerful.
It's not in the words. You know, and I love this word because our very presence must become a gospel. Our presence is a gospel. We use the words if necessary. But other than that, our presence should itself be the gospel. Is the gospel. To preach the gospel always, use words if necessary. And I think even Musiji has a variant of this. No? He says we must awaken to a tongue-less spirituality. Yes. He calls it fragrance of the being, and he also says we must awaken to a tongue-less spirituality.
Townless.
Tongue-less
Townless.
spirituality. Tongue.
Tongueless. Okay.
Tongue-less spirituality. Words are very secondary in this way. Words are only used with the Christ. So words are very secondary. Ultimately, we must do this for the love of our own presence, for the joy from our own presence. So our interactions with the world, our interactions with beings in the world must be one of love and peace inside and humor, centered inside. And we must inside of ourselves, we must not have a sense of separation when we are interacting with any of these people. When they say that, you don't care about anything, or when they say, for example, like you're mad, or big about the situation. Jesse, would you like to say something?
Oh no, I'm sorry, I just didn't mute my mic.
Oh, no, it's fine. It's so good to be.
It's so great to be here.
Oh, so good.
It's good to see everybody.
Yeah, same.
I do want. Can I say one thing?
Yeah, absolutely, please.
I was just gonna type this, but I guess I'll just say it that it took my wife a long time to get used to me being a little more relaxed about everything. Relax isn't really the right word, but to really sort of have some things that typically would be a trigger for both of us, because it doesn't trigger me anymore, it still would sort of trigger her, and there would be this sort of thing where she's sort of playing tennis by herself, hoping that I would go back and forth, and I just wouldn't be involved. But I'll tell you, it takes a very short period of time for others, my kids included, everybody that really, like you were saying, that you run into, to sort of get this sense that everything is okay, even though it doesn't seem like it, and from a practical perspective, from a problem-solving standpoint, um, this peace that we all, this fragrance we get from Father and from you, Ram, and from the entire Sangha, it's the ultimate problem solver, you know. And so I wanted to type that, but that's kind of long. But I wanted to tell you that, when you don't worry so much about what your mind worries about, I mean, the whole world is at your feet.
Absolutely. It's incredible. I love hearing you share. I love hearing anybody share. It's so beautiful. I keep sharing to everybody. I feel that this doesn't need to be a monologue. It's beautiful to hear these things, often when me, Joe, Om, and some of the members of the Sangha, when we just hang out, we often just say, that listening to any being share from their experience is just so beautiful. Anything. And so I had goosebumps when I heard you share. It was very, very nice. So it's very beautiful. I love to listen to it. And it's so true, what you shared. It's like somehow us being in peace invites everybody around us to be at peace. It's very paradoxical how that works, because initially we feel that we have got to go diffuse and bring people to peace. But then once we later realize that, just me being at peace is enough. That's all there was ever needed. And then, I love what you said, the metaphor, your wife wants to play tennis in some sense, but you are no longer available to play. You're only available to love. You're only available as a peaceful presence. And they get drawn back. They get drawn into the heart of our being, heart of their own being. So, Nisargadatta Maharaj had this beautiful metaphor, he had this metaphor. He said, somebody asked him what is realization? And he says, realization means, he gave this metaphor. He said, imagine I have a photo. Okay, I have a photo frame, and I come to you to hang it on you. And there are no nails for me to hang it anywhere. What will I do? It will just stick to the wall. There are no more nails. So I'm rolling around with this photo, and there are no more nails, and it just keeps sliding off the wall. And that's what realization, actually, he said that's what realization is ultimately. That you stop providing these nails to the world in some sense, and you stop providing these nails to your own self. And then everything just slides off.
What's interesting is that when something important really happens, and I don't think that this doesn't mean that nothing important happens. There's going to be situations, I think, that we all find ourselves in, whether they're there can be serious situations where they need your immediate attention, and I think that when you're in a group dynamic and something important does happen, those that are looking for help from somebody will look around and find the one that is at peace, and find the one that is observing the situation, so that and they will gravitate to that person and say, what should we do? And
exactly.
And if you see somebody else in the same situation that is running around in circles screaming, but that's not the person they're going to come to. So these people up are those people that say, have you lost it? Are you out of your mind? Are you going to throw the whole world away? Just know that you've put yourself back in the driver's seat, really, and those that are spinning, you can be more available to them to help them go through their things. So, I think it's important to know that it's the ultimate strength in not being involved in your mind's chatter. It's the best way to go through life.
Absolutely. And I love the way how you repeatedly kind of drill this point down, which is that it's the most practical thing. I love the way how Jesse always keeps repeating this, and it's very, very helpful for all of us, which is it's the most practical thing. And I found it in my own experience that, like how he says, it's the most practical thing. You know, being understanding what you are, self-realization, enlightenment. All these are grand terms, but ultimately, it's the most practical way to live life. You know? And I love how he keeps sharing that constantly, which is because when you're peaceful, it's somehow like everything around you settles down. It kind of really uh, comes into a unique harmony. You know? It's incredible. I just love that how Jesse always keeps highlighting this, and I feel it's very important because we somehow miss this. You know, we feel it's some grand, esoteric kind of path, but actually it's the most practical, most alive, real kind of way to live life. So,
If I could say, it's really, from the outside, it looks so disengaged, you know, because it's something that's not what people expect, and it looks so, you know, aloof. Um, but it's the most engaged way you could possibly be. I mean, what's more engaging than having the view of everything? There's nothing more discerning than being attention, not paying attention, but just being attention, you know, and not getting caught up in the dust of all the other stuff. So,
exactly, exactly. I feel it's the most connected way to live. Actually, it's profoundly engaged, though it may seem from the outside like as though uh, like how you said, there doesn't seem interest, but it's a profound state of unity also. Not so much a state, but it's a profound unity in some way. You stop separating, you stop fighting, and you're just there. That's why I love the word presence because it's you're just there. There's no other way of explaining it.
thank you, Ra.
Oh, thank you, Jesse.
Love you.
Love you too. So Xavier says, my heart was waiting to listen to your voice, Jesse. Thank you, Ram, for this. Thanks, Jesse and my Sangha. It's so happy. I feel this. I feel this that when any being actually, and I feel more so from our own Sangha, when we speak from our own experience about life and about what we go through, it really lights up. There is such a sense of spontaneity. There's such a sense of connectedness. We speak when we experience of life and what they're really going through, genuinely, honestly. I feel it's incredible. I feel like presence of such people. I would love to listen to such people because it's a living inquiry in some way. It's not like you're awakened and that's it. And, it's like it's really going through the most normal aspects of life. It's living, and there's such a universality in which each being understands and shares this. And I'm always very curious and always to being shared. Thank you. So the invitation is really that remain untroubled, are we willing to live an untroubled life internally and externally? In that joy and in that go or wherever adventure takes you, go where life takes you, and so just know this being is helping you, guiding you, and taking care of you your being ever needs to have. So there is no need to fear. There's no need to because you're taking care of you in more trust in various things in life. Trust into put trust into our. So have no fear, have no worry, and doubt are coming up. And know that you're being. It's a lie and a falls away. The illusion of control falls away. In your heart, there is.
I think we lost him.
I think you're right. It was very choppy. The video was very choppy for a little while.
Yeah, I couldn't understand anything he was saying there at the end.
I know. I know.
I was killing processes, hoping that would help, but then he left.
Yeah, I thought it was me for a while, but I guess not.
I guess not. All right, then. I'm going to go, Jesse.
Okay, brother.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.